Hi everybody, Rupa Datta, District 91 Club Growth Director here. The other day I was challenged by someone who I've worked with fairly consistently over the time I've been a Toastmaster, who kind of gave me some feedback and some observations on my conduct and what they've seen or observed over the last few years. And the conclusion of that was perhaps it was time for me to record a My Why video. Said individual said, look, you come across as confident every time I've seen you. You do some really cool stuff outside of Toastmasters. You've got the social angle covered and so on and so forth. So what's your why? Yes, I've heard your 60-second story about joining because you wanted to stay out of the pub and so on and so forth, but what's your actual why? And that really lent itself to, yes, it's time for me to do another My Why, why we join Toastmasters, and perhaps more importantly, why we stay. So I joined Toastmasters in 2016. I did need a professional development hobby to keep me outside of the pub because my work and everything I was doing at the time was quite social. I am personally committed to professional development, and I perhaps finished an MBA around about a year before. I didn't want to do something that was going to be that intense necessarily, but I wanted to keep my skills sharp. And I'd heard about Toastmasters from a couple of different people, but it did take me probably about a year to say, yes, I'm doing it, and find and join a club. I'd also, at the time, through a couple of my different hats, started to speak on behalf of said organisations and was being invited to speak. So I was aware that I needed to hone that muscle. Personally, I found myself going down the Toastmasters leadership track very quickly, sooner than most in the typical member's journey. And yeah, so this year I'm your club growth director, and my why this year is twofold. So partly I feel like Toastmasters is a lifelong learning organisation, and sometimes we forget that each and every one of us have our own backstory, our own baseline when we join. But if we all look at it as there's always something more to learn and there's always something more to give, this year serving as your club growth director is as much about me learning and developing new skills as it is about me giving the skills that I have commercially to the role. I also wanted to be able to find my way around PowerPoint when I joined, and actually that's something that hasn't improved dramatically over the last 5 years. So something I continue to work on through the projects in Pathways. I hope that is a little bit more of an insight, and I'll be sure to maybe record these a little bit more frequently.